Chapter 9. He drew back sharply and realized the ropes binding him to the rock were gone. He kicked out and struck something hard with his foot. Damn, the man's leg was hard as rock, or wood. No, he told himself, do not even think that. He climbed to his feet. A little trickle of blood edged down his arm. The low groan he'd heard before came again. Crawford stepped backward, edging away from the sound. The fog could work to his advantage. If he could circle around Fellows, he backed up against a wall. Shit! A wall? How could there be a wall here all of a sudden? He was still hallucinating from the mushrooms, or the iced tea. Either that or the world Fellows was living in, of cannibal demons and Tinkertoy body parts, was the real one, and the rest of the goddamn world was the insane asylum. Something hard hit him in the forehead. He stumbled backward. He struck out blindly, and found only air. A hand grabbed his, and threw him to the rock. He landed face first. A terrible weight landed on his back. He felt hands tearing at him. The t-shirt he was wearing ripped. He turned his head and saw the mushrooms he'd spit out before on the rock, right next to him. He reached out and swallowed them whole. And then he was falling. For a minute he thought nothing had happened. He was still on the rock. The fog was everywhere. Then he realized the weight on his back was gone. He got to his hands and knees and grimaced. His back felt as if someone had taken a sharp rake to it and scraped repeatedly. Nearby, he heard the sounds of soft, gentle crying. "Hello? Don't come near me, don't come any closer, don't! It was the voice of a child. A boy. Scared to death from the sound of it. The mist cleared. 10 feet away, a boy sat on the rock, holding a man's head in his lap. The man wasn't moving. Crawford had seen them before. In the paper that had fallen to the floor at the Burkittsville Historical Society. And in the last trip he had taken, 9-year-old son treated for shock. This was the 9-year-old. "Leave me alone!" the boy screamed. "It's all right!" Crawford sat back down and held up his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm not going to hurt you!" "You're not real," the boy said. "Go away." Crawford suddenly realized something. This was different from the other time he'd seen the boy. This time the boy could see him. He was really here wherever here was. "I'm a policeman, son. You don't have to be scared." The boy said nothing. "What's your name?" "Go away." Crawford sighed. Look, the world exploded. It was daylight again. He was back with the 5 hunters, the ones with old-fashioned clothes and the antique rifles. Only now they didn't have the rifles. Now they were lying on the rock, tied together at their hands and feet. And Crawford's stomach rolled. He heard a noise behind him. He turned and saw the little girl, the one who had been holding a doll. Now she was holding a knife. "I am coming, detective," she said. He closed his eyes. He was sitting on the rock again. The boy was staring at him. "Where did you go?" Crawford didn't answer. How long would he be here in this place, wherever this place was? How long before he was back on the rock with Fellows again? How long before he was dead, just like Green and Politi? He was trying to make sense out of what was happening, and he couldn't. He was a policeman. He was used to thinking of causes and effects. Man walks into a bad neighborhood wearing a Rolex and a short-sleeved shirt. He's going to be minus a watch when he walks out. Skell pawns off vials of baking soda to Crackhead. Crackhead comes back and wastes Skell. Lightweight dealer makes a cop run 2 blocks to catch his sorry ass. Lightweight's going to get slammed against a brick wall for his trouble. And so on. The point is there were rules. Precedents, as the lawyers would say. These things, Oki, the Blair Witch, Eileen Treacle, all of them, they followed no rules he could understand. There were no precedents. "Hey, mister." That was the boy again. "Where'd you go?" Crawford shook his head. "I don't know." He looked at the boy and remembered the other headline from that paper in the Historical Society. Patterson in irreversible coma. He looked at the man lying in the boy's lap. "That's your father, isn't it?" "He fell," the boy said quickly. "He slipped on the rock and hit his head." Crawford stared at the boy. 20 years of being a cop told him there was more to the story than that, but he let it pass. "Can I take a look?" "Well, okay." Crawford crossed to the boy and knelt down. The man was lying face up. One side of his forehead was streaked with dried blood. Crawford couldn't see much else, couldn't tell how badly the man might be hurt. "Do you have a flashlight?" "The batteries ran out." "Okay," Crawford said. "What about matches?" "Oh, yeah. In my dad's backpack over there." The boy pointed. Crawford followed his finger to a campsite by the stream, underneath a stand of tall, leafy trees. Okay. Crawford stood, then smiled down at the boy. My name is Randy Crawford, by the way. I'm Jeff Patterson. I'll be right back, Jeff. Crawford jumped down off the rock and walked over to the campsite. He found 2 backpacks. One was bright orange with a big Mr. T sticker on it. The other was camouflage green. My dad's is the green one, Crawford smiled. The backpacks were leaning against one of the trees. He knelt down to turn them. Berries were lying on the ground, all around the tree. He picked one up, held it in the moonlight. Red berries, rowan trees, precedents, Eileen treacle, and the necklace of berries that woman had made to protect her child. The Indian, with the seashell necklace, crushing the berries over the body of the small boy. Eagle feather, foreseeing his own death. Mister? Be right there. He picked up a handful of the berries and put them into his pants pocket. He turned to the older Patterson's pack. The front pouch first, he decided. He zippered it open and found a box of big wooden kitchen matches. He walked back over to the rock and sat down next to Jeff. All right, Jeff. Let's take a look at your dad. The boy nodded. Thanks, mister. He struck one of the matches. Lightning flashed. Jeff and his father were gone. He stood up. Mist covered the rock. In the darkness beyond, something shuffled toward him. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the berries.